G'day, it's Xavier at the top of the garden, and I wasn't sure whether I was going to get involved in this count at all because I sort of feel my position is slightly different. In summary, I've got, for those of you who watch my videos, you know I've got stacks of trees. I've got them in various stages of development, like quite a number of other. So I've got an absolute ton of trees, and to be fair, I was in one of those positions where I had a slow number of trees building up over sort of 15-20 years, combination of stuff I've done myself and stuff I've picked up from normally saving nurseries, where I was getting loads of stuff at a really knocked down trade price, but I was having to do quite a lot of work fixing them up, taking them back to basics and move them on. And then obviously with the various circumstances that happened in my family's life, I sort of took refuge and solace in trees, and my collection rapidly increased. But what I'm going to do, I am going to do a count, and I'm going to try and divide them down a bit. So I'll give you numbers from benches, let you have a quick look at them, and then I'm going to break them down into those that I consider purchase, that I haven't really done very much with apart from upkeep, and that may well end up being sold, and all the stuff that I'm developing. I am counting some nursery bed stuff because a lot of my stuff I've had in nursery beds for quite a few years and have been working on in the beds. And that'll include also some of the cuttings and stuff. Anything that's under a couple of years, I don't think we'll count that, but ultimately I'm going to leave it up to Nigel and Sam to decide what they consider is foul play. And just a reminder, although in my description I do talk about the fact that I do sell trees, and I'm aiming to go that way as a nursery, truthfully I'm still at backyard hobby stage. I find it difficult to sell trees, not because people don't want them, but because I don't want to let go of them. I still keep myself really in the hobbyist stage. Anyway, let's go on and let's see what we've got in the count. Cheers. Okay, look at this. I'll call this bench 1. It's one of my better constructions. On this we've got 10 trees, and again, like others, I'm not going to include multiple trees. Out of those, 2 are purchased. You've got the Tchaikovsky in the top right hand corner, which I think I bought for about £50 back in 2016, and all I've done with that is I've really brought it back a long way and redeveloping the pads, and the Genko, which you've seen me work on in the top left hand corner, again that one was, I don't know, bought for about £15 back in 2017. The rest of those combinations of trees that I've either picked up in nurseries, on digs, or a part of the original Japanese large stock 1-year-old saplings I bought in 2001. And the most noticeable one there for me really is the one in the bottom middle. This one here, I don't know how I'm going to look. That one is a raft style juniper. It was a very one-sided tree, and that was my first proper raft style, but that's coming on nicely as a forest, and though I keep telling you I hate junipers, so I don't have to do too much with them, they seem to at least survive. So that's bench 1, so that's 10 and 2 purchased. Okay, so moving on, we're going to go now to bench 2. And again, we've got a combination of purchased and self-produced trees. So having a look at that, I think we've got a golden larch or a Deodora citrus. Got a Hinoki cypress at the back there. Obviously that's a purchased tree, and that was a make me feel better present after the death of my wife. Got 2 of those. And so say the count on bench 2 is 16 trees, 4 are purchased. Say I've got the Hinoki, so the golden larch, and that little brush cherry, which not many people you like watching that video. I think that's only unique because it's probably the first ever video I tried to do on YouTube, so it has that look about it, but it shows the pruning of it. A little potentilla over there hiding, and a little Marmee maple. Well, it's not really Marmee, to be honest. It's still, I think it's, well, no, in truth, it's 7 years old, but it's an example of what happens when you keep something pot bound in very small pots. Next we've got bench 3 of this, 26 trees, and 7 of them are purchased. And as I say, when I say purchased, That includes the Dawn Redwood, although I've done stacks of work on this to try and get it into some sort of shape. But still, that was pretty well purchased in the form it's in now. Of those 26, we've got a false cypress. We've seen that one, obviously, the larches, the cobra, Dawn Redwood, little twin trunk maple there, some dwarf azalea. All of these have been done by myself. And we go down, obviously there's the dwarf cypress down there, and some potentilla, zelkova, that was purchased. And then we've got a combination more of larches, zelkova, and some azaleas, as well as that double larch on rock. Again, that was that one there. That's a zelkova on rock that was a little present for me. Layer maple there, which I've shown. Right, and now for the question of the day. I've got a few purchased Satsukis, and looking at the leaves there, they seem to, common thing with them is they've got this, they brown off, orange, lots of different colours in those leaves. I know it's a deficiency of some sort, but I can't seem to solve it. So cry out, shout out for anyone who can help me with that, please. Much appreciated, because I really don't want to lose those. Okay, this next one I'm going to call this Area 1, and clearly this has got that the old man oak that I've been working on. There's a few videos on that one. Although that was purchased as basically a stump, it didn't have any branches, so I'm not counting that in the purchase. Behind it you've got a developing forest of about, I think it's 13 or 14 oaks. In total in that whole area there's 19 trees, of which I'm counting 3 as purchased, and that would be 2 of the azaleas, and down there on the ground is a rather large ficus, tiger-bark ficus. Certainly the ficus, that was in a very sorry state back in 2016. I think I got that for £40. That is probably a third more in size, and I've done a lot of work on it. The cuttings were taken at least 4 years ago, and I've kept them in pots and developing them on there. What's it developing? Developing? That's a good word. So I'm counting those. A little larch down there. Some little well, it's still a pot plant, so I'm not counting that. But yeah, so I've got little benches there. We've got a combination of larches, little ash. There's a larch forest planting there. Some of those trees are well over 20 years old, and the cloud larch, which I'm developing. And when I got it, there were no branches on it. So that's from that area. And if you're really excited about that cloud larch, I will be doing a pruning session on that fairly shortly. Now, I've considered Area 2, because again, I've got this habit to keep things in nursery beds, and there's a couple of little beds in there. But of that area, there's 5 which I consider trees, and 15 of them in beds. And out of those, there's another 16 little azaleas, but the azaleas will be taking 3 or 4 years to grow. So right in front of you, there's another little juniper there. I'm working on another silver birch, and then we've got a great big hornbeam there, which I've done nothing to apart from the basic transplant work. I'm just getting a better look inside the bed. We've got some more sycamores growing. They're a good 2 or 3 years old, and then we've got some Fuji cherries there, which I've kept in pots and I'm working on in the pots. One of those is actually a root on rock. Those little Satsuki cuttings, they've been there now for say 3 years. They're not counted in the count, but they've been there for a long time. I can't believe how long it's taking them to grow. And then you'll have seen this bed because I did a video which included, I think it's that hazel on the left hand side. Just for an update on that, you can see now that there's definitely a lot of new buds growing, so that's coming on really well. And there's a few sycamores in there as well, another hazel. Okay, and now we're into, what do I call this? I've called this bench 4, which is just on the back of the house, on the kitchen area. This really has most of my zelkova and the odd few Chinese elms. I keep saying zelkova because back, I was convinced I had loads of Chinese elms, and now jelly's ruined my night, or ruined my day. Thanks for that, Jelly, I really do appreciate that, but I'm going to signpost people to a video. I might have a card up there, I've never done a card before, to the particular video where he does the identification of Zelkova Chinese elm. Anyway, there's 32 on these benches, and of those I'm considering 16 of them to be pre-purchased, and all I've done is kept them in shape and improved things on them. So they'll be outside the my development count. Down at the base there, we've got a mixture. Those Chinese, it's a Zelkova, isn't it? Down there, that's from a cutting. We've obviously got the hornbeam from a dig, and I've just forgotten the name of that now. Larnaca? Could be Larnaca. And then we've got larches, those ficuses that you saw in pots. These ones I've actually potted up properly. A couple of purchased Zelkova, although one of them might be an elm. And then going down, even these cuttings are 2 to 3 year old cuttings from that mother plant. So got a couple of larch there. I'm counting that because that's a good 7 years old, and that's on rock. And then there's a couple of Buddhist pines that were cuttings from a tree that my dad killed. He tried to plant it on his carpet. And then working along this bench here, you've got oaks, you've got the larches, the twin trunk larch, the cherry, ginkgo. You've got right here a little box copse with tiger in it, because that often happens. Larches, a lot of larches. That's Japanese maple, Katsura. That was originally a 4-foot monster. And then we're going to move along here where we've got all my Zelkova. A few of them, just probably a third of them, have been produced myself from either cuttings or branch cast-offs. This one here, that was a branch cast-off. Found it in the trash pile. Trash, sounding very American now. Yeah, I mean, the aim is with these ones, these will eventually be sold, a lot of them. I'll keep a few as sort of a token gesture, so I've got some, but if it's stuff I've done like this, that root on rock, this one at the back here with the well gnarly roots, that's another one that I've done, and again that was another example of one that was found in the cast-off pile. So anyway, so that's that bench. And the only one left there is, I'm counting that, that's Fuji cherry, which I picked up. I might have picked that up at the beginning of this year, and that's that hasn't even hit development stage yet. That's just sitting there because it missed its opportunity. So, and I don't know whether to cut it right back or to take lots of cuttings from it or what. So that just sits there for now. So that's the end of part 1 of the tour. Do apology about the legs, but they don't get to see the sun much, and when they do, people run. But yeah, that's about the one thing that gets the birds to stay away. The lovely shine of white from my legs, I think it scares them. Anyway, so looking at that initial count, what's that, 10, 26, 52, 72, 71, 76, 108, 128, 130. I've counted there 131 in this top section, which is from that point upwards. Of those, I'm considering 37 to be purchased, and more, not much I'm going to be doing with them. So I'll let you decide whether they get added to the final total. So yeah, so as far as we're concerned, we're going to be moving to this upper or patio section of the back garden in part 2, and that covers the majority of my maples, jades, a lot of junipers here, and a few other odds and sods. So I hope I've excited you to the ends of your pleasures, and look forward to seeing you again for part 2. Cheers. Have you noticed, by the way, different colours make you look fat? I'm trying to find a colour that doesn't make me look fat, but I've got a funny feeling even this shirt, it seems to accentuate the abs. And I've got quite a good 6-pack here. You wouldn't know it. I know you wouldn't know it, but I think we better leave it there. Cheers.